Hey guys, Chauncey Phillips here with a brand new DVD Blu-ray Tuesday Sham video today. Today gonna go out today, see what things came out, see what things are on sale. Today though, some of the big releases that come out is the film Escape Room, the 40th anniversary edition of Alien on 4K. That comes out today, and I know Best Buy has an exclusive Steelbook release of that one. Also the film starring Nicole Kidman, The Destroyer, that comes out. There's also a couple other things as well. Also at the end of this video is gonna be a whole bunch of brand new DVD and Blu-ray reviews for some things I received to review and talk about for you guys. And as always too, let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of the DVDs and Blu-rays that are reviewed, if you guys have seen any of them, and also if you guys plan on picking up any of them. But anyway though guys, let's get going and see what we can find today. Into Target we go. And in here today, like I was saying though, the big things that came out was the film Escape Room, and that one here is $22.99 for the Blu-ray of that one, and $19.99 for the DVD. I'll be talking about this one at the end in the review portion, but I really like this movie a lot. I thought this was actually a really cool movie. Kind of has a vibe to the film Cube. Other than that though, I believe both of these ones came out today on 4K, Captain America, The Winter Soldier, and Captain America Civil War. And both these ones here are $29.99. And I didn't see in here anywhere though Alien 4K or The Destroyer, at least unless they haven't put them out yet. I didn't see them anywhere in the sides or anything. But I believe these ones were new today. These new slipcover editions are the same ones underneath, but they just have new slipcovers. And they have like the Hangover here, Sherlock Holmes, Gravity, Inception. This one here is a DVD of Gremlins, Mad Max Fury Road. Most of them are $10. This one's $15 though for The Shining, and then $7. But I think though both of these ones had been in Walmart before, and like at one point might have been Walmart exclusives. I'm not 100% sure though, but I know some of these I don't remember seeing though. Other than that though, there's actually even more on the other side here. There's one for Gran Torino, there's one for Argo. This is a pretty cool one. These ones are all DVDs though, for Beetlejuice, Risky Business. Yeah, I know some of these are new for sure. These ones are $5, the DVDs. The Goonies here, Storks. I'm pretty sure I saw this one though in the past. Wizard of Oz and Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Rings. These are some of the other Blu-ray ones. The Wizard of Oz is $15 and $7.50 for Lord of the Rings. I did see these, and I've never seen these before. These gigantic Funko Pops here. There's like some here for like the Jack character from Incredibles 2. There's this one, it's an Ewok here. I've never seen these enormous size ones before. This one from Stranger Things. These ones are $29.99 for these. Like I said, I've never seen ones this big before. When it comes though to new slipcover releases, I believe I heard too that Walmart is supposed to have some new exclusive ones that are tie-ins to the brand new Godzilla film. And they're supposed to, I believe, have movie money for the film as well, but there's supposed to be a bunch of ones that are kind of aged up and everything. So I'm going to go to the one Walmart and see if they have them. If they don't, I'm going to head to another one as well that usually is the one that gets in those new exclusive ones. Because like I found like the VHS slipcovers there in the past that they had, that was like the only location I ever saw them in person. So yeah, we'll see if we can find those today as well. Into Walmart we go. And in here though, new release wise, they seem to be all out of glass here, all the Blu-rays and the 4Ks except for one DVD and then 2 of the exclusive only at Walmart ones. But their edition here of Escape Room, that one's cheaper here. That one's only $19.96 for that one here for the Blu-ray, and then $17.96 for the DVD of that. Other than that though, yeah, I don't see anything else in here new. If there's anything else down here, it doesn't look like it. Like I said, we're gonna head over to the other Walmart though to look for those slipcovers. They do have one copy here of Alien 4K. That one is $14.96 for that. That's a really good price for 4K that's brand new. Just came out. There's, like I said, going to be a steelbook of this one at Best Buy though. It's a pretty cool looking steelbook for that. I think that's $22.99, but we'll check when we get there. Other than that though, I don't see anything else in here, and I'll see though if I can come across any of those slipcovers, but I'm pretty sure I'm only going to see those if they have them at the other location. They do have this huge Avengers Endgame here, big thing here promoting the movie, and they have a whole bunch of different Avengers kind of stuff here, like Captain America hats and pillows, and then like some of these toys, and a bunch of these like Hot Wheels cars here. These ones somehow ended up in here, these Jurassic World ones, but it's like low-key ones, Captain America, Iron Man, and then a bunch of different Funko Pops here. And the other side, there's like all kind of things with branding on them, like Ziplocs and Legos, little Lego things over here, more hats. And then on the other end though, there was some of the Blu-rays for the movie, like Doctor Strange, the Captain America Winter Soldier one. So if you guys are looking for that one in 4K here, they seem to have them in this end cap. Those ones are $29.99 as well. Yeah, but didn't see any of those Godzilla slipcovers in there. I looked through all the sections, so we're going to head over to another Walmart to see if they have those ones in. Into the second Walmart we go. These are interesting slipcover things here. This is the first place I've seen them have these ones. These are ones where like you can color them in, and they have them for like Peter Rabbit, the Emoji Movie, Hotel Transylvania, Transylvania 2. They're all DVD ones, but they're cool though, like Wonder Woman here on DVD, Ferdinand, Smallfoot, Storks, the Lego Movie. This Ninja Turtles one is cool. Norm of the North. These are some of the few Blu-rays. Norm of the North Blu-ray, Monster Trucks, Space Jam, Paddington 2, Never-Ending Story, and then Leap. Leap's another one of the Blu-rays. Alvin and the Chipmunks, The Nut Job, Scooby-Doo and the Gourmet Ghost, Scooby-Doo 2 movie collection. But like I said, yeah, this is the first time I've ever seen these ones. I think they were like a tie-in for like an Easter item. But let's see though over here if there's anything else different. Yeah, it seems like it's all the same stuff I saw in the other store here, but usually somewhere in the section is where they would have these slipcovers, so I'll look through though and see if I can see them anywhere in here. And yeah, they actually do have these things in here. They're like I said, they're like aged up slipcovers promoting the new Godzilla film that comes out sometime next month, and they have $5 to the movie, and then some of them have $8 off. So yeah, some of them are $5, some of them are $8. This Meg one here is pretty cool, but they're for the Meg, Edge of Tomorrow, Rampage, Ready Player One, Pacific Rim. Some of them are DVDs as well. Godzilla. Yeah, these are really cool. Like I said, this location always seems to get these slipcover releases. Another one here for King Arthur, San Andreas, Geostorm. Let's see if there's any other different ones in here. Tomb Raider here, that one's $12.99. Kong Skull Island. Yeah, definitely, really glad I came in here because it seems like they have these ones and those ones I saw in the front, the color ones. Yeah, it's really funny though how this is one of the Walmarts that always seems to get in the slipcover releases. And like I said, I had no clue about those color ones as well in here. But it's really weird though, like how they're real different though, because like this one, I didn't see Alien 4K in here at all though. Into Fry's we go. And I haven't been in here in like a month or two, but I like to come here every so often because sometimes they have really decent deals on like older DVDs and Blu-rays, so we'll see if there's anything on sale today. In here though, every time I come in here, I feel like the movie section just gets smaller and smaller. Years back when I first moved out here in 2010, like all the way over down to there was all DVDs and Blu-rays. Now there's just not as much. But sometimes they have stuff in here that'll like end up being like $1 and stuff. Like some of these ones here at certain points will be on sale for $1. But yeah, there's definitely even less than there was last time around in here. Like I said, it was like this whole area was all the movies. But they usually have like things on the front here. It'd have like the sales that are going on. This place is good though for getting like Arrow video releases. They get a lot of the Arrow releases in here and a lot of the Scream Factory titles. So that's a really good place if you're trying to get them in person. Like they have like Colobus here. This is a really, really cool horror movie. $22.99 for that one. But let's see if there's any tags on the front for anything on sale. I'm not seeing anything in here. But they have a lot of things like marked down, like this thing here, the F word for $3. But usually though, they have like, when they have big sales going on, they have tags in the front for the stuff on sale. But I'm not really seeing any of those today. But like I said, they have all these ones in here, the Arrow video, like Blood Rage, this Blood Hunger one that this came out recently. So it really is cool to come in here and see those ones in person, and like Basket Case. But when I first moved out here though, this was like the one place that kind of would get all the new stuff that came in, like every week, the stuff that released, they would get like 90% of them. But like Lucy here is on sale for $13.99. Serenity's $13.99. So there is some, but not like I said. Every so often they have these big sales when they have the tags and stuff for like $1, $2, $3. But yeah, the Blu-ray section though is even smaller than last time, and this seems to be the only DVDs they have left. Like I said, I haven't been here in a while, so this has really, really been cut down in here now. And this past weekend I saw a couple different films. The first one I saw was The Curse of La Llorona, which is a film which is in the Conjuring universe. And there's like one character which, ties it together in a way to the other movies. But essentially though, it was about this mother who works for like Child Protective Services. And she goes to this one house where this mother was like, they said she was like not treating the kids right and everything. And she finds that both of her kids are locked in this one room. And she's kind of hiding them away. And she's like, oh, I'm hiding them away from somebody. they're being protected, and of course she thinks, oh, they're being like locked away and not fed or anything, and it's like, it's because she's hiding them away from La Llorona. And of course, when she goes there and lets these kids out, then this La Llorona ghost comes after her kids, the kids that are being that are her children. And essentially, though, it's like the one son starts like seeing this woman. It's essentially, though, the La Llorona character is like this legend of like this woman who, years and years back killed both of her kids, and like she killed them in the lake. And because she did it, she like did it in this, didn't even know she did it, and then like snapped later when she found out that she did it, essentially. And then she was like wandering the earth as like as a ghost, like this vengeful ghost, because she was upset that her she killed her own kids, and she would go and like kill other kids to try and like replace those kids and bring her kids back from the dead, essentially, is what it was. But essentially, though, like I said, the woman who's in Child Protective Services, her kids are now being haunted by La Llorona, and it's like kind of like her trying to figure out what she's going to do and how to stop it. And then like the people she works with are acting like she's acting weird to her own kids, so it becomes a whole big situation. I thought the movie was okay. There was some creepy aspects to the movie. The director, though, is going to be doing the new Conjuring film, Conjuring 3, so I'm interested in seeing how that one is and how he does that film. But the one thing that was funny about this movie was it was the first movie in a really long time that I can think of where, like, if a character was scared or saw the ghost or anything creepy happened, they like screamed at the top of their lungs. And it wasn't like, just one character doing that. It was like every single character, if they saw one thing creepy, they were just blaring out these enormous screams, like Scream Queen kind of screams. Like I said, I cannot think of a movie in so long when characters were doing that every single moment when something creepy was happening. Like I said, it was okay. Nothing like absolutely amazing or anything. I still think like The Conjuring, the first film, was like the creepiest of all of them. There was some really, really creepy jump scares in that. The other film that I saw was the movie that stars Elle Fanning called Teen Spirit. That's a movie, though, that no one really saw it. Hopefully more people get to see it, but I feel like, with Avengers Endgame coming out, and that's going to be a movie that's playing in so many, screens and stuff, and so many of the theater's screens and everything, a lot of movies are probably going to be gone because of that. So if like it'll probably only be in there for like 2 or 3 more days maybe, and there may stay on in some theaters. But it was basically, though, about Elle Fanning's character, who was going into a show in the UK which was kind of like an American Idol type show called Teen Spirit, and her character, she's a singer, and she's kind of, hasn't really gotten to do too much with it, because her mother is kind of only really wants her to sing at church and all this kind of things. And she ends up finding this guy who helps her, sing, and poses as her, uncle, to let her go into this competition so the mother doesn't find out or anything about it. It was a really, really good movie. Elle Fanning did an amazing job in this, an amazing singing voice in this movie. I really liked it. I thought it was really, really well done. Some people kind of compared it to the movie Star is Born, and it had a similar kind of vibe to it, but like mixed, like I said, with an American Idol kind of competition. But one I would highly recommend if it's still playing anywhere. If you guys get a chance to see it, 100% check that one out. If you guys got to see either of those films, though, let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of them, or what you guys got to see this past weekend, if you guys got to see anything. Into Best Buy we go. So in here, though, like I was saying, they do have steelbooks here. They have a steelbook here for Captain America Civil War here. That one's $34.99. I think, though, yeah, this is the one that they had out a couple weeks back. This one here for the first Captain America movie, Captain America First Avenger. And then this one came out today as well. This one here, Captain America Winter Soldier. So cool steelbooks. Both of these ones here are $34.99 for those ones, and they have Alien in here on 4K for $14.99 as well. The steelbook, though, seems to be gone here. That was $22.99 for the steelbook. I'll look in the actual section, though, to see if they have any of those ones still. Like I said, I'm going to have a review of this one at the end of this video. And Escape Room here is $22.99. So this one is, if you guys are interested in picking this one up, it seems to be the cheapest at Walmart for $3 less. I know everywhere does price matching as well, though, but yeah, Walmart definitely has this one the cheapest. So anyway, though, guys, that's all for this DVD Blu-ray Tuesday shopping video today. I ended up looking in there too in the actual section. Didn't see any of the Alien 4K steelbooks. If you guys went out today to Best Buy, let me know in the comments below if you guys ended up seeing any of the steelbooks in there. It's pretty early. It's only about 1 and they're already all gone, so those ones went really quick today. Also, though, thanks again for always checking out these videos, guys, every week and giving them thumbs up and comments and everything like like that. Also though, in the comments below, let me know as well what you guys picked up though, if you guys did pick up anything today on Blu-ray, DVD, or 4K. And let me know as well in the comments below what you guys thought of all the DVDs and Blu-rays that are reviewed at the end in the review portion. But anyway though guys, now stay tuned for the brand new reviews. And the first one I got here is from Lionsgate. It's a movie here called Dragged Across Concrete. This is from the same director, S. Craig Zahler, who directed Bone Tomahawk, as well as Brawl in Cell Block 99. Both are movies which I absolutely love. If you guys have not seen those movies, totally worth checking out. This movie, though, absolutely love this movie. This is one I give one of my top recommendations to. It's one of those ones you guys definitely go out and watch this one. Absolutely love this. And this stars Mel Gibson and Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn was also in the director's film Brawl in Cell Block 99, but it's basically, though, about their characters of these cops, and Mel Gibson, his character is really, really, like, he's been a cop for years, and he's, like, really unhappy that he hasn't gone up into, like, a higher position, and his family has all kind of financial problems, and they're trying to move to a better neighborhood, and he has all this kind of pressure on him, and he's also become really hot-headed, and, like, his tactics for getting answers from, like, the criminals and everything, he's, like, really, you know, very, very violent, and just kind of no compassion anymore, and the one that they're staking out this house where they believe the one guy knows where these drugs are and this money and everything, he ends up like taking the guy and pushing his face into the ground, and is really violent, and it ends up getting caught on camera. Someone nearby films it, and it ends up getting on the news, and because of that, Vince Vaughn and Mel Gibson's characters, the footage gets out, and it gets back to the chief, and they end up getting suspended for like a number of months, and because of that, Mel Gibson's character doesn't know what he's going to do, he doesn't know how he's going to pay for things. Vince Vaughn is kind of okay because his girlfriend, she has a job and everything, but he's just kind of sort of like a yes man kind of guy, and like what Mel Gibson, who's his partner in the film, is saying, he kind of agrees with and kind of goes along with him. And Mel Gibson, he ends up like, he was kind of has like contacts to some bad people, and he ends up getting a contact and a tip off about this money, and there's going to be like there's a lot of money that he believes he can get to because of something that's going on, and he ends up talking Vince Vaughn and saying, you know, you want to join this in me, and you know, you want to steal this money from this person. And it's essentially though about them planning out this whole thing about how they're going to, they basically become criminals themselves, and this is not ruining anything about the movie. It's basically though about them, the cops becoming the criminals, and them like staking out these people, and them kind of following them and figuring out exactly what they're planning and where they're planning on getting this money that they were tipped, you know, got the tip about. And it's essentially though, it's just one of these situations where things just go worse and worse and worse in this movie, you know, for the characters and what's happening, and they just get into a horrific situation. And it's like a, you know, if you guys know the director's other movies, they go to extreme levels of what happens, but this one was so good. I absolutely love this movie so much. It's a slow build movie. It's not a short film. It's like 2 hours and like 30 some minutes, but it's not one of those movies that I feel like really plays out slow. And I feel like I couldn't think of anything I would take out of this movie, because everything, the director really has a lot of character development and a lot of where you really get to know these characters, and he likes like dialogue scenes about them kind of talking about things. And it's one of those movies where you really feel like you like were through this situation, and you're like dealing with what they're dealing with, because it's not all cut like quick cut or anything like that. It's like the movie kind of has room to breathe of what's happening with the characters. But one of these ones, if you guys have seen this as well, let me know what you guys thought. On here though, it has a 3-part featurette on here about the making of the film, as well as a making of featurette as well. But like I said, one I would highly recommend you guys check out. And next one here is from Lionsgate as well. This is a movie here called The Hole in the Ground. This one's also an A24 title as well. This one is essentially, though, about this mother and her son who end up moving out to this house kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And the kid's getting ready to go to school and everything. So no one around this area knows them at all, since it's a brand new area. So like this comes into play later in the movie though. But essentially though, when they get out there, and you know, the one kid kind of wanders off and walks out into the woods, and when she's out there, they discover there's this huge kind of like sinkhole, gigantic like crater like hole kind of thing back into the woods, which there's no real explanation of what this thing is. And she's like going, I don't know what this thing is. But essentially though, one night though, the kid ends up wandering off at night, and he's out there, goes near the sinkhole, and then when he comes back and she finds him later because she can't find where he is, when he returns, there's something off about him, and he's acting really different, and she's kind of like, what is going on? And he's like, this kid was like afraid of certain things, and now he's not, and like all these different things all of a sudden have changed when he went near this hole, and like when he wandered out there the one night. And like, since it's a new area though, you know, no one else there would know really anything about how he was before, so they're not really noticing, oh, he was acting differently, because they really didn't have any time to know him. But it's a very, very creepy, slow burn horror movie. Would highly recommend you guys check this one out. Like I said, just a very creepy concept about everything that's happening in this movie, and kind of wondering, is this mother, you know, imagining this? Did something really happen out there? Because she's also noticing a lot of other weird things as well in the house when they get out there as well. So there's just like a whole lot of odd things going on. This one has on here though a making of a featurette on this one. The next one's here. This one here is from Sony. This is a movie that stars Gina Rodriguez called Miss Bala. This was a remake. I've never seen the original film of this one, but this is a remake. I think the original was from a couple years back, and essentially, though, this is about Gina Rodriguez's character who goes to Mexico to visit her friend, because her friend is in the Miss Bala beauty contest down there. And essentially, though, she's just kind of there to kind of help her with her makeup and just kind of like cheer her on and everything. And then the night before the big contest, though, they end up going to this bar, going drinking. But what ends up happening, though, is her friend ends up getting kidnapped, because there was this whole bad situation that happened. These bad people came in there and kidnapped Gina Rodriguez's friend in the movie. And it's essentially, though, her trying to figure out what had happened to her friend. And she ends up kind of finding these guys, and they're like, oh, we can take you to your friend. We can help you out, but you got to do something. So they basically tell her to go to this certain location and drive this car. Basically, she's told to do something, but little does she know, though, that she did a horrific thing. It was not a good thing because of her, you know, going along and helping them out, because she was basically doing anything she could to figure out where her friend was and get her friend back. And, you know, she goes and does something, and because of that, she ends up wanted herself, and like the police are after her, and it becomes this whole big situation of her trying to say, I didn't know what they were planning. I had no idea about this. I was just trying to get the information about where my friend is, and the cops are all you know, giving her all sorts of grief, and like, you know, thinking that she works with these bad people and everything. And it's just kind of her through this whole nightmare situation trying to prove her, you know, her innocence, that she had no idea what was going on here, as well as trying to get her friend back and figuring out what exactly had happened to her. This has on here, though, deleted and extended scenes, a bunch of different featurettes on here, a filmmaker commentary on here, the making of, look into the stunts and costumes with director Catherine Hardwicke on this one as well. And the next one here is from Sony as well. It's a movie here called Escape Room. This one, I really, really like this movie. I saw this one in theaters as well. This is essentially, though, about a group of these people who get this invitation to this new escape room. Some of them have like never been there before, and they're promised to, like, oh, if you can escape the escape room, it's really complicated, and if you can, you know, get through this, you're going to get like $10,000. I think it was $10,000, I believe. I'm pretty sure, but essentially, though, they get invited there, and like some of them are like, oh, I've been to all these different escape rooms, I can get out of all of them. Some of them are really new to this and have no idea exactly why they're there. Some of the people there, it's like not their thing at all. But essentially, though, they end up getting in there, and, you know, little they know, though, this escape room is basically, you know, if you don't escape the room, you're going to die. So it's kind of like they end up, you know, the handle comes off the door, and they have to solve these riddles, and it's like the very first room, it's like this room where it's kind of like almost like an oven type thing, like the ceiling becomes all red like an oven, and they're getting cooked in there, and they have to figure out exactly what they have to do to get out. And every room, too, has sort of a theming to a certain person. So, like, the rooms kind of know certain things about the participants. And it's kind of like, how are they knowing these about them? So it's almost like in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, it's almost like their own personal hell. That's kind of like what this escape room is like. It's almost like the characters' own personal hells that they're going through, and them trying to figure out how to get their ways out. The movie, though, has a vibe to the film Cube. If you haven't seen Cube, that's a movie. I always love that movie. But it has a similar kind of feel to the film Cube, about because the Cube was them trying to solve these certain puzzles to get through the rooms. Otherwise, you know, the rooms had traps and stuff like that in them. But I really, really liked this movie. I thought this was a really fun movie. It was really, really well done. I know they're going to be doing a sequel to this one as well, as I cannot wait to see where they go with the sequel. And this one on here, though, has 8 deleted and extended scenes. It also has, it doesn't mention on here, but it has an alternate opening. I got opening, and the opening kind of it's like it kind of shows you what you're in for much earlier than you find out, because it kind of shows you the very first room that you see the characters go to in the film, like 20 some minutes in, or something like that. But it shows you in the very beginning this whole different group going into that room. And then it also has an alternate ending, which I'm glad they used the ending that they did, though, I will say. It has on here, though, some featurettes as well. But one of them was like the characters talking about escape rooms and if they've ever been to them and like their thoughts of them. And then there's a couple little making of featurettes as well. But this is one definitely highly recommend you guys check this out. Just a really, really fun movie. And the next one I got here is from Fox, and this is the Alien, the 40th anniversary edition here on 4K. This has the 4K, the Blu-ray, as well as the digital copy of the film. And this is one of those movies, I've watched this movie so many times throughout the years. I really love all the Alien movies. And I remember, like, you know, the one, probably my favorite one to watch for some reason is the third movie. I just like the whole, like, look of that movie, even though that one's always got mixed opinions and everything. It wasn't the best movie all around, but I just love the whole, like, look and, like, the futuristic feel of that movie. But also, Alien Resurrection, that's one I always think of because that was the first ever R-rated film I saw in theaters. Let me know below, though, if you guys can remember what was the first ever R-rated movie you saw in theaters. Not that you ever saw, like, first ever R-rated movie ever, but the first one you ever saw in theaters. But when I think of, like, the Alien films as well, I always think of the Alien set, the quadrilogy, which had Alien 1 through 4, you know, when that first came out. Because I remember that edition so well, and I remember, like, there's something so cool about that because it was, like, a super special edition, and it was one of the earliest times too I remember when they were like putting out sets where they had like 2 different cuts of a movie and they had like these huge amounts of special features, because there had been like features like that in the past, like releases, but that was like a really, really special edition set. Now, I always remember that so well when that was releasing and how excited I was to get that one years back. But this one has on here, though, the 1978 theatrical version as well as the 2003 director's cut, and that was the one that was part of that set on there. And I think it was like a couple minutes difference on here, that version. But some of the ones like part 2, I think that one was quite a longer difference, and the third one was really different because there were so many different changes to that one. But you know, essentially though, if you guys don't know this film, it's about Sigourney Weaver's character on this ship in space. It's set in the future, and they end up they're kind of getting ready to be done with their mission, but they get like this transmission from like this other planet, which, you know, they don't know anything about it. And they end up going to this planet, and little they know, though, this planet has, like, the face huggers on it. And, of course, one of them gets bit by the face hugger, goes on their face, and brings the alien aboard the ship. And it becomes a whole nightmare of them on the ship with this alien loose. But it's just such a cool movie. One of the movies that you could go and watch again and again and again. Like I said, I've watched this movie so many times throughout the years. Hopefully, though, they release all the other films on 4K. Like I said, I would love to see all the other ones, you know, in 4K as well. They're just such cool movies. And this one translates so well in 4K, because if you guys don't know the Alien movies, especially like the look of them is this real dark, dreary atmosphere, and it's all on the ship and everything. And just like kind of the look of everything to it. This one really boosts the saturation levels, so like boost it, and also like the contrast levels. That's the one thing with 4K that you really, with the HDRs, you see much more levels to that, and it really, really adds much more definition to what you can kind of see like in the darkness and everything in the scenes. So if you guys are wondering about this one, definitely worth, you know, the upgrade for 4K. And has on here, though, feature-wise, it has a director's commentary on here, a commentary track on here with Ridley Scott on the theatrical version, introduction to Ridley Scott on the director's cut, Blu-ray only, as well as deleted extended scenes. So like I said, really, really cool release here. And next one here is from Fox as well, and this is the 4K edition here of The Kid Who Would Be King. This has the 4K, the Blu-ray, and the digital copy of the film. This is from the same director who did the Attack the Block, which is a movie I really, really like that one as well. Essentially, though, this is about this kid in school who's not super popular. There's like these bullies that pick on him really bad, and he ends up meeting this one kid at the school who is like finally like his friend, and he's kind of picked on as well at the school. But the one day they're kind of getting chased around by these bullies, and they end up finding, you know, hiding out in this junkyard kind of area where they're kind of like tearing down this old building and everything. And the one kid ends up pulling the sword, this is in the stone, out, and it's basically, though, he ends up becoming, you know, known to be, you know, the next King Arthur. And Merlin, who is, you know, Patrick Stewart's character, who turns into this kid to kind of like help him along his way on this journey, because he's kind of and the kids too doing these like fun like ways of doing spells and stuff. But essentially, though, there's like this queen that is kind of coming back, this evil queen who's going to kind of bring out the demise of the world. and he has to go and try and like stop the whole thing from happening. So it's kind of like an adventure film, kind of like, it kind of has feels of like you know, the Goonies a little bit, like a throwback to like an 80s throwback kind of vibe, like adventure kind of thing, because like he has to get along with the bullies, and then he has to kind of work with them, people he wasn't expecting to be working with, to try and stop this from happening. Like I said, it's just a really, really fun movie. I like this one so much all around. 4K wise though, looks really, really good on 4K. On here though, it has deleted scenes, it has some featurettes on the movie and everything, but highly recommend you guys check this out. Just a really, really fun movie all around. The next one here is from Fox as well. It's the movie that stars Nicole Kidman, and this is Destroyer. This is essentially, it kind of goes back in time throughout this movie though, but it's about her character set in the present, and she kind of goes, she was a cop, but now she's a detective, but she's kind of like not really been doing too much in the current time, and she ends up going to this crime scene, and she finds this money there at the crime scene, which is covered with like the dye pack that exploded, and she believes though the person who's involved with this crime scene where this guy was killed was someone that she was trying to take down years before when she was doing an undercover job, because like I said, it cuts back to her when she was going to undercover with this gang, these group of these bad guys who were kind of planning something, and you know, she was trying to, like, she was infiltrating it, and the one cop was playing her boyfriend, but it kind of cuts back and forth between the current time and people who are in that gang now. The one guy's like really sick, and it's essentially though like her trying to actually finally track down this guy and bring him down because he kind of got away. And like I said, it cuts back and forth to back, and you know, during this, when she was infiltrating this group, to her now with all the kind of problems that she's going on through now with her daughter, and all sorts of different kind of things that she's going through, and her trying to sort of redeem herself for kind of the things that had happened in the past and all that kind of stuff. It was actually a pretty interesting character piece crime film here. On here though, this has a breakdown of an anti-hero, the making of Destroyer, a commentary track on here with the director, as well as a commentary track on here with the writers, as well as a still gallery on this one. And the next one here is from Paramount. It's a movie here called What Men Want, which stars Taraji P. Henson and Tracy Morgan. This movie's not exactly a remake, but it's a similar concept and based in part on the movie What Women Want, which stars Mel Gibson, about his character getting the abilities to hear what women are thinking and everything. But in this one, it's Taraji P. Henson's character who works at this sports agency, and she's like, you know, kind of going up the ladder, and she's trying to get further in the company and kind of get more respect and everything. And she's trying to figure out exactly how to do that in this business where she's pretty much one of the only women that's working there. It's like a whole lot of men at this company, and she's trying to figure out how to kind of get further ahead there. But one day, though, she doesn't know sure exactly how it happens, but she kind of thinks she might. She ends up getting the ability to start hearing what men are thinking. And every man, she's like, you know, hears every single thing that they're thinking. And it's all sort of problems, like her person who is her assistant, she's kind of hearing the bad things that he's thinking about her. And then he's got to try and not think those things. And she's trying to think, like, you know, she's hearing, you know, what the people at the office are thinking about her. And kind of, but because of that, though, she's kind of using that to her advantage to try and, you know, discover certain things about people. But the main thing about this movie though is she's trying to sign Tracy Morgan's character's you know, I think it's the one who's like represented by him, you know, who is I think it's his cousin, I believe, his character, or his son, I'm not 100% sure, I can't remember, but he's this up and coming basketball star, and you know, she's looking to sign him, and you know, he's not really sure what agent he wants to go with and everything, what group, and you know, she's kind of trying to sign him. That's the concept of this movie. I actually thought this was a fun movie though, and there's like a scene in here where they have like cameos by, you know, Shaq and Mark Cuban at this poker scene, which is really fun in here. But this has on here over 60 minutes of bonus content. It has a gag reel and 10 deleted and extended scenes on this one. And next one here is from Warner Brothers. This is from the Warner Archive. They sent out a free copy of this one to let you guys know that this one is available. This is a Frankenstein 1970, which stars Boris Karloff. This is essentially though about the 200th anniversary of the original Dr. Frankenstein and Frankenstein's monster, what he created back then, kind of in the legend and everything. And this TV news crew is going back to the original castle where it all took place, and they're coming to interview, you know, the current Dr. Frankenstein, who was, you know, related to the original. played by Boris Karloff in this film. And essentially, though, you know, there's something off about him, though, because he really needs the money, and, like, he's having them there coming to do this news story because he's trying to build this nuclear reactor type thing to buy this machinery where he believes, because he, you know, knows where the original Frankenstein's monster is, and he's planning on trying to bring it back and everything. And this news crew is there filming, like, you know, Boris Karloff's character talking about the legend and about his, you know, grandfather, great-great-great-grandfather, and, like, they're doing, like, reenactments of, like, horror scenes about things that they believe had happened with the monster and everything. And essentially, though, you know, Boris Karloff's character is going and, like, trying to bring back the Frankenstein, the original monster, but then he's got some problems, and he has to find, like, body parts and, like, eyes and stuff like that for him. So, of course, you know, people who are there filming this this TV show are getting, you know, killed off for parts and everything, and that's essentially what's going on. They're kind of, people are going missing and everything. This is actually a really, really fun movie. This has on here, though, a commentary track on here with historians, some film historians, Charlotte Alston, Bob Burns, and Tom Weaver. Picture-wise, too, this looks really, really good on Blu-ray. The next ones here are from Movie Zing, and I'll have a link where you guys can order these ones, but these are CBS releases, and this is a show which I had never seen before, and, like, let me know below, though, if you guys remember this show. If you guys remember this one having, like, repeats, you know, like if this was ever in syndication and played, like, on Nick at Night or anything like that, because this show was originally it ran from 1980 to 82. But, like, I never had seen this, and, like I said, I don't remember this ever re-airing or anything like that. Like, not that I can remember, and it's a really good show, and it's kind of a tearjerker, some of them, too. Like, I was, like, sort of crying a little bit. It's a sort of sad, some of what happens. There's a show here called, I said, none of you guys might know about this, but it's called Here's Boomer. And here's a look at the back on this. It's the complete first and second season of the show. It starts off, though, as a pilot movie with how it started and everything, but essentially, though, the character of Boomer is this dog. In every episode, the character kind of goes around from place to place and goes and travels to, like, through all over and kind of helps people throughout their problems. Like, for example, in the one episode, Boomer's character helps this girl who, you know, is not doing great in school, and, you know, they're trying to figure out what's going on and what's happening and everything. And she goes to this carnival one day and wanders off with Boomer, and then Boomer kind of keeping her safe, and the parents find her, and the kids trying to find Boomer again. You know, Boomer walks off again, and they're trying to find where Boomer went and everything. But essentially, though, Boomer is kind of helping and saving the day. Kind of like, I guess, you know, see, like Lassie, though, was like at the one house and everything. This isn't exactly like that, because Boomer goes around, and it's new sets of characters in the episodes, and, like, he's just kind of helping them on different kinds of problems and everything. But it's a really good show. Like I said, let me know what you guys remember about this. I think this is really cool. This is released. I love seeing stuff that I never had heard of or never knew anything about, especially TV. There's something really cool about that. And, like, really cool they released these ones. And it's such a cool, like I said, cool to me to watch stuff like this that I totally knew nothing about, that I never had seen before and I never had heard of before. And then it's a really good show. And the next one here is from a company called Syndico. This is one I had really wanted to see for a long time. I know this one released in some other countries first. It's been out for a couple years now, but finally has a U.S. release. It's a movie here called Even Lambs Have Teeth. This one, I really, really like this movie. It's a great revenge film. Old school vibe to this one, too. Both the actresses did a really, really good job in this film. Essentially, though, it's about these two friends who are, for the summer, they just graduated from high school, and they're going to be going to work on this farm, this, like, organic farm for, like, a month, and they're only working there because they want to get a lot of money there to save up everything they make to go to New York City to buy a whole bunch of brand new clothes and everything to bring with them to college, because they're getting ready to go to college in the fall. So it's pretty much, that's the only reason they're there, is just to, you know, get money to buy stuff. And the one girl's uncle, he was like a cop. He's like real protective and everything, and he drives them to the bus station and everything, and he's like, well, text me every single day, let me know what's going on, because the one girl's parents are going away for the summer, so they're not going to be anywhere around. And he's like, you know, text me every day, and I'm going to give you this code word. Every single time you text, you know, first start with like a code word, like every, you know, text is like with a word with the A, then the next time text with the word B, then a word that starts with the letter C. So they're supposed to change it every single day. It's supposed to be a new word with a different letter. There's a code. So then they, he knows that something didn't happen to them, or someone didn't take their phone, is texting for them, any of that kind of stuff. But essentially, though, when he drops them off, they end up having to wait for the bus, and the bus isn't going to be there for a couple hours. So they go across the street from the bus station to go in this diner, and they meet these two guys in there who you can tell there's something a little off about them. They seem a little weird, a little peculiar the way they're acting, and they're like, oh, come with us, we'll take you to the farm you want to get to. It's not far. We're near there and everything, so it won't be a problem. And of course, though, they see the farm, they're like, well, that's where the farm is. You should turn down there. Like, oh, no, we got a plan for you first. And both the guys take them to their house. Little they know that was not a very good thing, and without ruining anything, they end up, something happens to them, and they get trapped on this farm. And like I said, it's a throwback revenge style film as well, but I really like this movie a lot. I thought everyone in this movie did a really, really good job. Like I said, it has a real throwback kind of 70s style with this movie. It has like old school synth music, but I really like this one. If you guys have seen this movie, let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of this one, but this one is 100% worth checking out, and really glad this one has a Blu-ray release now. And the next one here is from a company called AEP, which is American Event Productions. This is a documentary made by the son of the director of the original I Spit on Your Grave, and his son made this documentary here called Growing Up with I Spit on Your Grave, and the son actually acted in the original I Spit on Your Grave in the beginning of the movie, a quick scene in the beginning. Essentially, though, just covering this up just so no one says anything, but essentially, though, it's about, all about the production of the film. And like, if you guys don't know the movie, it had some really controversies around it because it was a very, very extreme revenge film about what had happened to this woman getting revenge on these guys. Like, I don't want to get into all the details, but it's a very, very shocking movie. I remember the first time I saw that movie, and like how real it seemed too, because there wasn't any music in the movie or anything. I'm gonna have a review though for I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu soon though, which is the direct sequel to the original movie. Probably next Tuesday that one will be up. But essentially though, this is all about talking to Camille Keaton and cast members from the movie, talking about kind of the origin of the movie, the controversies behind it, all that kind of stuff. So if you guys are fans of the movie, especially documentaries about movies about, the cool thing too, like I said, was it's directed by the director's son, so he has a lot of inside facts and like photos and all kinds of stuff in this one. The next ones here are from Vinegar Syndrome. This is one that I had been hoping would come out to Blu-ray for years, and was so excited when Vinegar Syndrome announced this one. One that I would love Vinegar Syndrome release too, if they could ever get it, would be Summer Camp Nightmare. That's like one that I feel like it's never had a DVD release or anything. So hopefully that comes out. That would be so cool if they could get that one, because I don't know who would ever release that movie. It was just such a cool movie. But this is a movie here which is another absolute must-watch called Grandmother's House. And I've always been a fan of this movie since I saw the DVD of this one when it first released. It was one of those DVDs too, which was like a newer DVD back in the day, where like the menu was really like, you'd have to like push arrows to get to like pay, like basically they didn't even have like a real menu that was like correct back in the day. You had to just push these arrows, and it would go and like skip around to like pages. So like it would skip one page, would be like the chapter selection, then you push the arrow again, it would be like cast and crew bios, and you push it again, it would be back to the main thing where you could play it. I don't know, it was one of those really early DVDs. But this is a movie here called Grandmother's House, and essentially though, it's about these two kids whose, I think it was their father had just died, but essentially their father had just died, their mother had died a few years back, so they ended up having no parents anymore, so they ended up having to go and stay with their grandparents. And, these grandparents, they really haven't seen too much. And they're these two real oddball, weird grandparents. I feel like this movie may have had a small, tiny bit of inspiration to the M. Night Shyamalan movie, The Visit. Just a tiny bit of inspiration. And essentially, though, they get out there. And, immediately on the way, though, the one girl is starting to see, like, Brinke Stevens' character kind of, like, wandering around the street and kind of, like, lurking around. You're kind of wondering exactly how her character plays into things. But the second they get to this house, they're noticing how strange these grandparents are, and the kid, he's like having these horrific dreams at night about things that are happening, and then he's also starting to notice stuff is going on, and then like things that he's dreaming and things like that are happening. But it's essentially though, it's kind of like also like the movie Parents. If you guys like the movie Parents, which stars Randy Quaid, this kind of has a feel of that. A little bit, not exactly, but that sort of vibe to this, but essentially though, they're like starting to notice little by little there's something really off about these grandparents, and they're doing some really, really weird stuff. It's a very, very cool movie. There's this one really strange like guy in this movie who's like hitting on the girl in the pool. He's like this like real strange over the top character in this movie. I don't know, I always like that character too. He's so cheesy and over the top, but like this is just such a fun movie. I love the music in this movie, some really, really great synth. This one has on here though a newly scanned and restored in 4K from its original 35mm camera negative. Interview on here with Brink Stevens, interview on here with the director, interview on here with the cinematographer, archival making of featurette. On here it also includes the original concept film, a still gallery, theatrical trailer, but really, really great movie. Like I said, so glad Vinegar Syndrome released that. The next one here is from Vinegar Syndrome as well, and all these ones as well have editions you guys can get for like I think it's like $2 more, something like that, which includes slipcovers. These ones are review copies, so they sent the standard releases, but they have ones that have like limited edition slipcovers to them as well. This is a movie here called The Corruption of Chris Miller. This is basically though about this mother and her stepdaughter who are kind of living together in this house, and like the father had like I think something happened to the father. I think the father had died recently, and like this was kind of giving me like the vibe a little bit of like the movie Crawl Space. The original 70s movie Crawl Space was another one, would be an amazing release for Vinegar Syndrome. Like not the Cross Country one, that one's been released, but the 72 movie about this guy who's living under the house of this old couple, great movie. But this one is essentially though about this mother and the stepdaughter, and like they kind of don't get along, and they're having all sorts of problems and arguments all the time. But this one drifter kind of comes into town and likes to stay with them and kind of is doing work around the house and everything, and you can tell the guy's kind of odd, but like they're both sort of liking this drifter a little bit. There's some like sort of weird stuff like with that going on, but essentially though somebody's going around in the neighborhood and people are like getting killed. There's not tons of deaths, but there's like people getting killed and stuff, and they're kind of like wondering, you know, if this guy could have some kind of a connection to this. This is like sort of a giallo type, you know, whodunit kind of thing, but it's cool music as well in this one. It's a very, very like, you know, hardly seen movie as well. I don't think it's ever really had a lot of major releases in the past, so really cool that's one thing that's cool about Vinegar Syndrome, that they release stuff that really is like some sort of forgotten, lost films, and they do amazing transfers on these. This one has on here a newly scanned and restored in 4K from its 35mm negative, has a career retrospective on here with the director, has on here a short film exploring the tragic life of Gene Seberg, alternate Spanish ending, alternate Spanish insert shot, alternate Spanish title sequence, theatrical trailer. Another one, really interesting movie. And the next one here is from Vinegar Syndrome as well. It's a movie here called Dark Room. This is from producer Nico Mastrokis, who did Island of Death, and they just released one of his films that he directed last month, but he produced this one and also filmed the opening sequence. It was a really cool opening sequence. This movie also has some really cool synth music, but this is like a whodunit movie of trying to figure out who the killer is, because you know the killer is somebody who's like killing the victims and photographing them. That's like what he's doing, and it's about this family living out in the, they're all kind of coming together and out in the middle of nowhere. They're in an area where there's like no other houses for quite a distance and everything, and of course, though, the one sister there at the house kind of wanders off, and they're trying to figure out where she was, and of course, she ended up getting killed by whoever this killer was, and they found him in this camper that was nearby, and that's who they think the killer could be. But like I said, it's kind of one of those mystery things of trying to figure out throughout this movie who was behind all of this, and they're trying to, of course, figure it out and figure out, you know, who was behind this sister's killing, why more of them are getting killed off. There is some really, really, like, over-the-top acting in here, kind of like Troll 2 acting in some of the scenes. Like some of the delivery, like the mother's delivery and some of it, just like the whole way, it's like, I don't know, there's something about it. Sometimes I really, really love bad acting. It's like, just sometimes it's fun to watch. And there was definitely some bad acting in this one, but this is just a fun, whodunit kind of film here. This has on here, though, a brand new 4K scan for the original 35mm negative on this one. Interview on here with two of the actors, a still gallery, and a theatrical trailer on this one. The next one here is from Magnolia Home Entertainment. This is a documentary here called My Scientology Movie. This is all about this filmmaker who wants to do a documentary on Scientology, but he's trying to reach out to people who are involved in Scientology and having really very little luck. And like, you know, if he tries to reach out to anyone at the Scientology headquarters or anything, they're turning him down. And he's told too that, you know, he doesn't want to mess around with this. And it's kind of all these kind of problems that he's having. But he ends up talking to and getting him to help along with this documentary, someone who was one of the people who was really high up in Scientology, but who ended up leaving. And he kind of gets him to help kind of like tell him kind of what some of the stuff that goes on there. And since he's having such bad luck getting any interviews with these people, though, in the buildings or anything, he kind of like casts the guy, like does a casting for somebody that's like the head of Scientology, and like the current head, and like doing reenactments and kind of going and showing kind of stuff that they go through and everything. And it's kind of like all about the, you know, him just trying to get these interviews, and him trying to do whatever he can, and him going on like the property anywhere nearby and getting run off, and Tory has to leave, and having all sorts of problems. It's funny too, Paz de la Horta just has this random cameo in here, and she's like, you know, she was in the movie The Nun and a bunch of different stuff, but she like kind of wanders by when they're filming. So it's just kind of funny seeing her in this movie as well, in this documentary here as well. But if you guys are interested in like Scientology and like all the kind of weird stuff behind it and everything, definitely is worth checking out here. This one here is from MVD, and it's from a company called Infuse Releasing. It's a movie here called Near Extinction, Shangri-La. This was originally made, as I was reading into this, as a pilot for a TV series. And it's basically, though, set in the future about a group of these people who are kind of coming together. It kind of has like a Walking Dead kind of vibe, and it's like a futuristic, post-apocalyptic type film here. Would have been cool to see this go into a series, though. But essentially, though, you know, it's basically there's very few people left on Earth, and they're trying to, these group of these people are trying to get to this area which they believe is Shangri-La, which is like kind of like the area where they believe everything will be nice and everything will be great, you know, where they can try and get to, because like where they are out living is kind of, everything is desolate and people are sick, and there's all kind of like, there's like creatures and stuff like that out there, and there's like a threat of all these kind of things, and people are also coming after them. They have all sorts of kind of problems, and it's basically, though, about them kind of working together, this whole group trying to get to this area and stuff. This has on here, though, a behind the scenes look as well as a theatrical trailer on this one. Like I said, it was definitely a very interesting film here. Like I said, it would be interesting to see how this would have gone if it went on to be a series. This is also from the creator of the NBC series The Event. That was who was behind this film here. And the next one here, I only have the actual disc for this one, because this one is a Redbox exclusive release. I believe this is the first ever Redbox exclusive release that they've ever done, when they're like line Redbox Presents. And it's a movie called Benjamin, which is directed by Bob Saget, who stars in the movie as well. Bob Saget also directed a movie which I really loved called Dirty Work, which stars, you know, Norm Macdonald and Artie Lang, and you know, Chris Farley was in the film. Hilarious movie. But like I said, I just have the actual disc for this one. But essentially, though, this is about Bob Saget's character, his son, and in the movie, his son is like, he believes that he caught his son doing drugs. He smelled something from the other room, and has become like really nervous about the whole thing, and he's like wants to stage an intervention for his son to try and help him. So he ends up having, you know, some of his friends coming over. You know, Bob Saget's character's friends are coming over, and one of his friends who's a doctor comes over, and he's supposed to kind of mediate the whole thing, but he's not in this field at all. The friend is played by Rob Corddry, but he has no clue what he's doing. And you know, also Dave Foley's in the movie, and you know, it's basically the friends and family all coming over, though, to try and help him, you know, stage this and, you know, and mediate the intervention for his son. But like essentially, though, when they're all together, he's starting to notice, though, that like everybody there has got their own sorts of problems. And like, you know, Bob Saget's daughter has like a weird thing going on because she's dating this guy, but then like the guy's best friend's like is obsessed with her and him, and it's like all sorts of like weird types of problems going on. And like Dave Foley's character's there, and like he's like I think he's like his cousin, Bob Saget's character's cousin, something like that, and he's like going in the house like stealing things and like putting everything in his bag and everything. And Cheryl Terry is also in the movie. Really, really great cast, but it's just a ridiculous thing. It's all set in the house, just about like this family and the friends together dealing with this by little, noticing, though, that they've all got these kind of problems, and they're all sort of trying to deal with all their problems together. But like I said, it's a movie called Benjamin, which you guys can exclusively rent from Redbox. And the next one here is from Altered Innocence, and it's a film here which was one of John Waters' top 10 films of 2018. It's a movie called Permanent Green Light. This is a really, really out there film. It's basically, though, you know, it's a character piece about this kid who is, you know, you're kind of finding out more throughout this movie why and what his reasons are, sort of. It's kind of him with his friends. It kind of has like a vibe, a little bit of like something like, I guess you'd say like a kids a little bit, like, and like a Harmony Korine type film, a little bit that kind of vibe. But basically though, his character kind of wants to have this spectacle and wants to kind of like blow up. That's like his thing, is he's not really like depressed or anything. He just sort of wants to do it because it will be like a big spectacle. But you find, like I said, you're finding out more behind exactly what's going on in this. But it's kind of about him planning for like how he's going to do it, and talking to his friends and going around and like doing things. And like I said, it's got that sort of kind of kids vibe to it a little bit. Like I said, it's very, very out there what's going on and everything. Not the easiest thing to explain, but I thought it was a really, really interesting, like I said, very, very different film. It has on here though an interview on here with the filmmakers, as well as Inside Roman's Notebook, a featurette on this one, as well as a theatrical trailer and other trailers for other Altered Innocence releases. And the last one here is from Monarch Home Entertainment. It's a movie here called Living Dark. This is the story of Ted the Caver. This is basically though about these two brothers. Like, their father had recently just died, and they hadn't seen their father in a long time and don't know too much about what the father was up to. But when they're out there though on the land where the father was just buried and everything, they're gonna get ready to start cleaning things up and figure out what they're gonna do from there. But they end up falling down, almost falling through this big hole in the ground, because they found this big kind of cavern that was dug out under the ground. And they go down there and they end up discovering though that there is a part, like some sort of like light kind of coming through this rock, and it was a undiscovered area of a cave, because they think was probably the father was down there digging because it was on his land. And they kind of want to go into this cavern and figure out how they're going to get into it. Of course, though, they're trying to dig in. They don't know a whole much about what they're doing. And it's sort of dealing with them, like, going through some weird stuff that's happening. And, like, they're seeing weird things into this cavern that they're trying to get into. And, like, weird type of visions and everything. And it's based on a true encounter about this true story that was, like, posted up online. That had a lot of controversy behind it. Like, if it was true or if it was made up and everything. It's actually a very, very interesting film here. Like I said, this is from Monarch Home Entertainment. Anyway, though, guys, that's all for the review portion of this video. Thanks so much for watching and subscribing, and I'll see you guys later.